I don't know at what point I can really start opening the conversation around suicide even more than I already have, because of course there's going to be backlash of some kind, and I'm not sure why, because I've been through the worst suicidal thoughts and just, I was ready to go through with it, but I didn't. And I know that there are so many different views, perspectives, everything, and I know that generations have a lot to do with it. Like, it's a generational thing where people see it differently, so it's hard to talk about. But that's the problem. Like, people are too afraid to talk about it, and people are too afraid to try to approach it because they don't want to approach it the wrong way. But I feel like I'm gonna end up doing it anyway, and I just my biggest thing, I guess, I shouldn't say that because there's so many big points that I would make about it, but just that, like, I think a really big misconception about suicide is that people don't want to actually die. They don't want to actually end their life. They are just so desperate to end the pain, to end the constant thoughts that are running through their mind, just like racing through their mind. Just darkness, complete darkness. And it just is like you feel completely just desperate for the pain to end one way or another, and it always feels like that's the one and only answer, and it's not. It's definitely not. But that's one thing that goes through a lot of people's minds. And another thing I started thinking about was, when I was going through the worst of it, I would start to think, okay, so if I killed myself and I had a funeral or whatever, I would start to think, okay, well, who would care enough to show up? Who, like, would anybody feel any kind of remorse, or whatever word I'm trying to use? I probably need to Google the definition. See, it's a serious topic, it really is, but it makes it easier for me to talk about it when I don't take it, like, I use the right word. Remorse means deep regret or guilt for a wrong committed. So remorse is exactly what I was trying to say. Anyway, I would think, so who would show up? Who would care? Would anyone feel any remorse for how they've treated me or talked to me or whatever it is? People who cut me off, cut me out of their life, would anyone show up? Would they care? And when you're in that moment and you're thinking those thoughts, you don't even logically realize you're not going to know anyway, because you're going to be gone. So you won't know who shows up. But I started thinking about that too. That was one thing, that was a big thing that would go through my mind when I was really thinking about doing it. Because people just kept hurting me, like, not physically hurting me, but just like mentally, constantly hurting me. Still happens, but I can take it now. But I would just constantly wonder, would anyone care to show up? Like, would they feel bad about the last thing they said to me, or the way they treated me or acted towards me? And I mean, people just don't understand the types of thoughts that go through people's heads who are seriously just ready to do it, to go through with it. And I know some people think it's an attention thing, and in a way it almost is, because it's like you're so desperate for help, sometimes you don't even realize it. I didn't realize it, and for the longest time I refused to go to see a therapist. I did not want help. I felt like it was just me, like something was just wrong with me. It was like I felt that I didn't need or want help. And I didn't realize that, like, it really is actually like trying to scream for help somehow. It's like you're drowning or something. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like you're drowning, screaming for help, and you just can't, because you just don't really know how to do it. And I don't even know how to word it, but a lot of people have told me, including while I was going through the worst of it, I've had people say, if you actually wanted to do it, you would do it. that, don't say that. Please don't say that, and please don't believe that either. And also telling me, like, getting in my face, eye contact, everything, saying, listen, no matter what I say, if you want to kill yourself, you're going to kill yourself. That's what people would tell me. That was like the worst thing. And I don't care if you have a degree in psychology. I don't care what you believe. I mean, I really don't. To say to someone, if you wanted to kill yourself, you would just go do it. It's all an attention thing. No, it's not true at all. It's not a matter of wanting to be dead. It's a matter of wanting the pain to end. Like, there are just so many misconceptions around suicide, and people are too afraid to talk about it. I'm still kind of too afraid to talk about it because I don't want anyone to take anything the wrong way. I really don't. But at the same time, I'm trying so hard to be a voice for the people who are going through what I was going through at the time. That's why this is so difficult, and I know that everybody views it differently. Some people see it as, if you want to get religious, this huge sin. And I mean, I've tried talking to priests. I've tried everything. I'm not really sure about my religion necessarily, but I've tried everything, so I feel like I can give some perspective on it, but I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. That's the problem. That's really the problem, because everyone sees it differently, and most people see it as an attention-seeking thing, and it's not. It's just truly being so desperate for the pain to end, and there are ways to do that. Look at me, I'm still here. There's ways to learn to cope. There's ways to learn to just let things go. I know that sounds impossible right now if you're dealing with these thoughts, but it's true. And even feeling isolated and alone, I mean, especially now, we're quarantined, so it's even worse. But it gets better. And I hated when people told me that too, but it really does get better. But when people make comments like, they can be the most educated people who have a degree in psychology, but they are so uneducated because they haven't actually gone through. Maybe they have gone through it, maybe they have had the thoughts, but they certainly haven't been through it the way I was, because I never actually wanted to die. I was just desperate for the pain to be over. That's what it was for me. And it's not like you're seeking attention, and I don't want anyone to feel that way if you are feeling like you're getting those thoughts. I know it's not for attention. I know that you're just going through an overwhelming amount of things in life. It could be family problems, it could be friend problems, relationship problems, it could be like abuse problems, it could be work problems, economical problems, it could be anything. And it could be everything too, just everything adding up, one thing after another. And it does get to the point, I know it does, where it's just like, okay, I can't take anymore, like that's it, I'm done. But you have to make that choice to not be done. You have to make that choice to keep going. You have to make that choice. Every single day you have to make that conscious choice, that conscious effort. You have to keep going and fighting. I don't want to really get into all of my thoughts around it yet, because I'm really not sure how people are even going to react to me talking about suicide, because it's like some frowned upon thing, and I don't know why. I will talk eventually more about it, I guess, but the biggest thing that helped me was realizing that eventually life is going to be over, and like that's just the reality of it. Like, there are so many unknowns and so many uncertainties in life, and the one thing that we know is that life is going to be over at one point in time, and we don't even know when it is. And I've said this before, so I'm sorry if it's repetitive if you've seen it, but we don't know when we're gonna die. It could be tomorrow. I mean, it could be today. it's freaking me out. It could be today though, it could be tomorrow, it could be the next day, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be next year, it could be 2 years, 3 years. We have no idea. So it's like, that was my biggest reality check, was no matter how bad things are now, eventually everything is going to be over. And like, who wants that to happen? I know when you're in pain you feel like you want it to all be over, but the way I took it was, life is going to end at some point, which means I only have a limited amount of time. That means that instead of cutting it short, I only have a limited amount of time, and I have no idea when that end is going to come. Like, I have to do anything I possibly can in my power to make it as good as it possibly can be with the time that I have, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, later tonight isn't guaranteed. I have to take what I have and I have to make the best of it. I have to take control back. I have to take the power back. I can't allow this pain and suffering to completely take over and consume me and everything else. I have to choose the positivity. I have to choose to find even one thing in every day. And if you have to take a mental day, take it. If you have to sleep a little bit more, sleep. I'm not recommending anything obviously like unhealthy, like alcohol, anything, drugs. Don't do any of that kind of stuff to get through, but things like sleeping or taking extra time to do stuff that you actually enjoy in life, even if it's like drawing or, I don't know, painting. I've painted the house, the walls so many times. I'm in so much trouble for that, you don't even know. But it's just taking time to do anything that you find happiness out of, anything that makes you feel grateful to be alive. You do those things as often as you can, but even when you can't, you just have to push through, because you just don't know when the end is actually going to be. And that's seriously the harsh reality check that got me through the most, was realizing there is an end that's coming. So why would I rush that? Why would I not just take the time that I have and try to change it into just doing anything I possibly could to make it better with the time that I have left? And I hope that helps anyone who's going through these horrible thoughts. I really do, because that's definitely the biggest thing that got me through, was just realizing, why would I want to cut that time short? I mean, it's when you realize that you only have so much time as it is, and we don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or 10 years from now or 50 years from now. We have absolutely no idea. We have no control over it. So we have to take the control back with the time that we do have left, and do anything in your power to just push through, get through, keep going, and don't even think about giving up.